Hello, welcome to this short video about the organ. The idea of putting a whole set of pipes together into a single instrument goes back a very long way. The organ probably owes its existence to panpipes, or possibly bagpipes, which go back to 1000 BC. Or maybe the Chinese instrument the sheng, which goes back to 1100 BC at least. The earliest recognisable pipe organ, the hydraulis, was designed by the Greek Ctesibios, working in Alexandria in around about 246 BC. It was apparently quite loud, probably a bit like a fairground organ, and was widely used in the Roman theatres and circuses. Even the Emperor Nero is known to have played it, possibly even while Rome was burning. The earliest known organ in the UK was built in 951 AD at Winchester Cathedral. It had 400 pipes and could be heard throughout the city. It took 70 men working in shifts to pump it, and a further 2 people to play it because they'd forgotten the art of making keyboards, so it had to be played by pushing and pulling levers. The organ had the distinction of being the most complex piece of machinery ever built, until it was supplanted by the telephone exchange in the late 19th century. London's Albert Hall organ has 9,999 pipes. The biggest playable organ in the world is in Philadelphia and has 28,604 pipes. There are 2 basic types of pipe. Flue pipes work just like whistles. In fact, some organists refer to their instrument affectionately as a box of whistles. The length of the pipe determines the pitch, and the width determines its tone. Wide pipes produce a fluty sound, thin pipes produce a bright, reedy sound, rather like a violin. Medium-scale pipes produce the characteristic full, rich organ sound called a diapason. Some pipes have a stopper in the end, which gives them a more mellow, hollow tone and makes them sound an octave lower. These are called stopped pipes. You can get this effect with a recorder mouthpiece. Open and stopped. Reed pipes are physically a bit like a clarinet, though the reed is made of metal, not cane. The pipes have resonators and can produce sounds imitating tubas. Trumpets. Oboes. Clarinets. or even ancient medieval instruments. Organ builders have used an astonishing variety of shapes to produce different colourful sounds. Normal pitch is called 8-foot pitch. That's the number 8 you'll see on some organ stops. That's the length of the longest pipe on the keyboard. There are other pitches too. 4-foot stops sound an octave higher. 2-foot stops sound 2 octaves higher. 16-foot stops sound an octave lower, and so on. 16-foot is the normal pitch for the pedal board, which is played with the feet and gives that wonderful rich bass sound characteristic of the organ. The middle C of an 8-foot stop makes the same note as a middle C on a piano. And there are some stops which are tuned to non-octave intervals. For example, 2 2/3 foot produces an octave and a fifth. 1 3/5 produces 2 octaves and a major third. Some stops even play a complete chord. These stops sound very peculiar if they're played on their own, but when you combine them with other stops, they add harmonic colours to the sound, and the ear doesn't perceive them as separate pitches. Combining all these different tones and pitches skillfully enables the organist to produce a huge variety of sounds, from the very quiet and pure to the extremely loud and rich. Flue pipes can be made from metal or wood. Generally speaking, wooden pipes sound more mellow, and metal pipes make a brighter sound. Other materials have also been used. The reeds of the reed pipes are generally made of brass, but the resonators can be made of metal or wood. A pipe organ needs a generous supply of compressed air. The pressure isn't very high. For example, tyre pressure in a car is about 250 times higher. But a large volume of air is needed, especially for the big bass pipes. In olden times, there would be bellows, like a blacksmith's bellows, which were pumped by hand. but in these days an electric blower, rather like a giant hairdryer producing cold air, is used. A large reservoir chest with a spring-loaded or weighted lid keeps the wind at a constant pressure. Each row or rank of pipes has a particular sound, and in each rank there would be one pipe per key, 61 pipes on a modern organ, and there would be several rows or ranks of pipes for each keyboard, for the organist to select using stops. These ranks of pipes are positioned in racks on the so-called wind chest, which supplies them with air and controls which of them sound when the keys are pressed. The wind chest is quite complex internally. At the bottom is a box of compressed air supplied by the blower. Above this are channels running from front to back called bars. When you press a key, a valve or pallet opens, allowing compressed air from the box into the bar. Above the bar there is a slider valve running from side to side the entire width of the chest, and above that are the pipe racks holding the pipes. So, every individual pipe is on an X and Y grid. The key selects the X dimension and the stop selects the Y. In order for a pipe to sound, stops need to be pulled out and keys need to be pressed. This is a very simple and efficient way for enabling one individual to control accurately a huge number of pipes. And learning how to do this is part of the fun. Most organs have more than one keyboard. Some have as many as 5, 6 or even 7. And most also have a pedal board, which is played by the feet. Each keyboard and pedal board has its own wind chest and its own set of pipes, sometimes more than one, and there is usually also the option of coupling the keyboards and pedal boards together so that one keyboard can be played from another. The linkage between the key and the pipes presents some interesting problems. For instance, the pipes vary in width, whereas the key spacing is fixed. It also looks and sounds better if the pipes are placed in a nice symmetrical arrangement. But of course the left-hand end of the keyboard controls all the big pipes and the right-hand end controls all the little treble pipes, so the pipes can't actually be directly above the keys which control them. A common solution in England is shown in this diagram. The key is pivoted in the middle, so when you press the key down, the back end pushes up. A lever, called a backfall, converts this push up to a pull down and causes a roller to rotate. This roller transmits the motion sideways until it's underneath the pipe it needs to control, where it pulls down a rod, which is imaginatively called a pull down, and opens the valve under the pipe. If it's properly designed, the motion from the key can be transmitted to the pallet valve without introducing a lot of friction or inertia. There are other solutions using different arrangements of mechanical levers, and there are also pneumatic systems and electrical systems. These days, electronics and computers are often used. I hope you have enjoyed this very basic guide to what makes an organ work. There are many other resources you might like to explore, some of which I have listed on the fact sheet. Thank you for listening.